Anyway, thank you, audience, for joining us today on What Should I Do With My Life? We're here, see, I can't talk because I'm on the video.
I'll have to keep the volume down, too.
Gosh dang, I can't. Okay. We are here today with Leslie Hurst, a librarian of the UW-Bothell Library. Now, this is a very special treat today because we're going to be delving into what it takes to become a librarian. Okay, now, how are you today, by the way?
I'm good, thank you. How are you?
I'm fantastic. Completely nervous because I'm on video right now.
It happens.
Is it alright if I ask you some questions?
Yes.
Okay, awesome. Now, how long have you been working here as a librarian?
10 years.
10 years. Wow, 10 years.
Yeah.
And you haven't gotten tired of your job?
No, because I'm always learning, and they're always challenged.
That's exciting.
Yeah.
If I would actually be in a librarianship as well, I'd be going into the books and stuff and helping people out all the time.
It's easy to get distracted and off on a path.
I bet. I'm already, whenever I see a bookstore or something, I'm walking down the street and I'm just like, oh, gotta go books.
But you'll have to remember, too, the way information formats are changing.
Right,
Books are still important, of course, but
yes.
the collections in print are getting thinned in many libraries.
Everything's going online. Yes. Now, what would you recommend to a blossoming young librarian or somebody who wants to go into the librarianship? Like, let's say, going into like an undergraduate university student. What would you recommend for them?
Well, doing things like you're doing, talking with folks who are in the profession to get exactly. So you can talk with different kinds of librarians. Public librarians are most accessible too. So that I think is a smart thing. And then in terms of your undergraduate degree, I know librarians, mostly academic librarians, who have a variety of subject areas that they've studied. The typical pattern you notice is English literature majors and history majors, but you can have a history major with all sorts of different kinds of specialties. Same with literature, actually. But there's also those with science backgrounds, social science backgrounds. So I think unless you're at a school that maybe has a program that's meant to kind of feed up into the master's degree program, like Seattle has that informatics undergraduate degree. I say that not having looked at the curriculum, I would want to look at the classes because it might get more. Information science overlaps a bit with computer science.
And they might change
So yeah, depending on the focus of an undergraduate degree like that. But broadly speaking, it's not hugely significant that you pick one single degree that'll track you right into the master's program. Yeah. So maybe what's more important at this stage is looking at the requirements for the master's programs, the master's in library and information science, and see what they're asking of their applicants. And just keep that in mind as you move through your undergraduate career.
All right, okay. And then let's see. Now you mentioned earlier when I was talking with you earlier that there's different types of librarianships.
Yes. There's lots of different flavors, I always say. So there's academic libraries, and even within like the UW libraries, for example, we have a ton of different kinds. We have catalogers. You have folks who are working on IT and information systems. You have folks working on digitizing stuff. Or archiving stuff. You have folks like us who do a lot of teaching and instruction and research help, so there's a lot of different times even within these realms. Then you have your public librarians, and I think also there you have your catalogers, folks who are building collections, public services, so helping folks at the desk. And then some other kinds are called corporate or special librarians.
Deal with like
so
medical.
You might work in an engineering firm, you might work in a hospital bedside with the doctor doing rounds.
Okay.
What other government organizations often, and sometimes those are called information specialists. They might have a slightly different title, but those are the biggest categories I think that I'm aware of in the field.
Well, yeah. I'd probably, if I would ever do that, I'd probably deal with. I'd probably go into just the regular education librarianship, here at the university, because here there's like so many books here.
Yeah, so like K-12,
right? Yeah.
Schools, yeah.
I mean, I was surprised, like when I went back to high school for a visit, and I went into that library, I discovered a whole new section of books and stuff. And I was like, why did I never take advantage of it? That kind of thing. If I was a librarian,
a lot
I
of
was
the
like,
budget cuts in K-12 lately have been either the librarians themselves or collections or space. Yeah.
Oh, okay, that makes sense. Thank you for your time.
Of course, yes. It was very nice to meet you. I'm excited about your interest in the field.
Thank you.
It's a fabulous profession.
Oh, thank you.
It's a great profession. I'm very happy I chose it.